Have you ever pondered why certain individuals appear to become more isolated as the years pass, while others remain enveloped in love and companionship? It transcends mere wrinkles or the passage of time. With the passage of time, we inevitably adopt habits, subtle, insidious ones, that can silently alienate those around us, strain our connections, and complicate our existence more than necessary. The most terrifying aspect? Many of us remain blissfully unaware of our actions until the moment has passed us by. However, there is a silver lining. This video will guide you through the process of making those changes. We are exploring the unspoken habits that often remain in the shadows, the entities that silently infiltrate your existence, robbing you of your happiness, your well-being, and your connections with those around you. Meet Julie, a 71-year-old retired librarian, whose narrative uncovers the journey of how these habits took root and the remarkable transformation she achieved. What compels you to stay engaged until the very last moment? We are revealing 9 unexpected traps that may be impacting you or someone dear to you at this very moment, along with straightforward, practical solutions to escape their grasp. The revelation of number 7 is bound to astonish you. It's the one that often goes unnoticed until it exacts a heavy toll. By the conclusion, you will encounter a challenge that has the potential to reshape your life from this very moment onward. Stay close to uncover the ways to identify these habits before they dominate your life, how to restore connections you believe were gone, and how to embrace aging with intention rather than remorse. For those who have experienced feelings of disconnection, stagnation, or a simple curiosity about the barriers in their path, this message is intended for you. Go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. For the longer you hesitate, the more challenging it becomes to transform. I highly suggest that you subscribe and enable the notification bell to ensure you never miss out on any of the videos. Your support holds great significance for me. If this video resonated with you, consider aiding me in disseminating these valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If this video resonates with you, kindly leave a comment with the number 1. If you feel inclined, please leave a comment with a 0, so I can understand how to enhance my videos and create a better experience for you. Let us commence. First and foremost, succumbing to an excess of negativity or criticism. Sarah had never envisioned herself as someone who held on to negativity. She consistently regarded herself as a person who candidly expressed her thoughts, believing she was being truthful with those in her vicinity. Yet, as the years flowed onward, she became aware of a subtle transformation taking place within her. Initially, it was a mere whisper of discontent, a soft sigh escaping her lips, a transient murmur of dissatisfaction. Yet, as time unfolded, it evolved into a rhythm she could no longer overlook. The dawn of each day greeted her with the all-too-familiar twinges and discomforts that accompanied the passage of time, prompting her to quietly lament the relentless march of age. Wasn't it just a harmless grumble? Yet it quickly seeped into other facets of her day. As she tuned into the news, her frustration mounted with each unfolding report, an overwhelming sense of helplessness and anger about the state of the world enveloping her. As she addressed her younger relatives, her words took on a cutting edge. In her day, she would lament, there was a greater sense of respect, accompanied by a dramatic roll of the eyes, as if the younger generation were somehow letting down her own. Initially, she remained oblivious to the strain it was inflicting on her connections with others. It appeared innocuous, merely candid thoughts, wouldn't you agree? Yet gradually, the exchanges grew more brief. Friends started to shy away from profound conversations, instinctively navigating around subjects they recognized, would spiral into yet another tirade. Even her grandchildren, who once looked forward to visiting her, started to concoct excuses to avoid spending time in her company. What Sarah was unaware of, in that moment, was the gradual and subtle erosion of her negativity. Regardless of the circumstances, it is universally undesirable for anyone to depart from a conversation feeling diminished compared to their initial state. Negativity acts as a heavy burden, dragging individuals down and causing them to withdraw instead of forging connections. In truth, one can effortlessly fall into a pattern of critique. Life often presents itself as a whirlwind, with the world shifting in ways that can leave us feeling disoriented. particularly when the chaos defies logic or comfort. Our bodies no longer operate as they once did. Activities that once flowed effortlessly, such as shopping, driving, or navigating a smartphone, can unexpectedly transform into sources of irritation. Expressing those feelings can bring a sense of liberation, yet when negativity settles into your default state, it transforms into a barrier that separates you, rather than serving as a means to navigate your feelings. What are the ways to transform this energy? Begin your dialogues with a touch of optimism. Rather than starting with grievances, think about opening with appreciation. Today, I awoke with a sense of well-being, and the sunset from last night, with its breathtaking beauty, could easily find a place in your daily musings. Positive energy possesses an innate ability to radiate and permeate the surroundings. It possesses an irresistible allure. Individuals are naturally attracted to those who elevate their spirits instead of burdening them. When the urge to vent arises, remember to establish boundaries. Allow yourself a brief moment to articulate your frustrations, and then transition to a more productive endeavor. Curiosity wields a strength that surpasses the weight of criticism. Inquire boldly, particularly regarding matters that elude your comprehension. Rather than brushing aside the interests of your grandchildren, be it an app or a game, consider responding with curiosity. Tell me more about that. It fosters connection instead of driving them away. As Sarah began to implement these subtle adjustments, embracing positivity, demonstrating authentic curiosity about her grandkids' experiences, and frequently voicing her gratitude, she observed a significant transformation. Discussions extended into the depths of time. Once more, individuals found themselves sharing their thoughts and feelings with her. Gradually, the long-lost warmth of connection surged forth, enveloping everything in its embrace once more. What she discovered, through a difficult journey, was that the energy one invests in the world is the energy one ultimately receives in return. To forge a connection, one must first be willing to offer it. It begins with the words you utter, the presence you embody in the world, and the perspective you decide to embrace. Second in line, neglecting one's personal hygiene and outward appearance. Once upon a time, Sarah found joy in adorning herself with beautiful outfits. She reveled in her appearance, meticulously selecting the ideal ensemble, artfully applying her makeup, and ensuring her hair was flawlessly styled before stepping out into the world. Her wardrobe was a tapestry of exquisite garments, each blouse a vibrant hue, complemented by a signature fragrance that she donned with unwavering poise. Yet, as time unfolded, a transformation started to take shape. It began with subtle shifts, forgoing hair appointments and choosing the ease of loose, comfortable clothing over the fashionable ensembles she once favored. She started to ponder, what was the point? She had long ceased her efforts to captivate anyone's attention. As the days passed, she discovered a tendency to remain in her loungewear from dawn till dusk, seldom casting a glance at her reflection. She assured herself that it was of no consequence. Yet, beneath the surface, a transformation was quietly unfolding within her. She began to sense a shift within herself. It transcended mere perceptions of others. It delved into the depths of her own self-perception. Sarah started to observe how others interacted with her. Once, strangers would shower her with compliments about her vibrant ensembles, but now they scarcely met her gaze. Once, friends would extend invitations for lunch or a movie, but now those requests have become a rarity. As Sarah gazed upon the faded photographs of her past, she struggled to identify the lively woman she had once been. Where had she vanished to? What became of the woman who exuded joy and confidence? The truth she had yet to fully comprehend was that the way we present ourselves to the world influences not only how others see us, but also shapes our own self-perception. Personal appearance transcends mere vanity. It revolves around the essence of self-respect, a tribute to the individual you embody, irrespective of the passage of time. It revolves around the act of being present for oneself, embracing the comfort of one's own skin, and declaring, I am significant. What is the method to reverse this? Begin with small, achievable steps. Put on your clothes, even if the day holds no extraordinary plans. It need not be an ensemble crafted by a renowned designer. Simply put, it's about wearing clean, well-tailored garments that instill a sense of comfort and self-assurance. Engaging in a shower, running a brush through your hair, carefully trimming your nails. These seemingly minor rituals convey a profound affirmation to oneself. I am deserving of this attention. Donning an item that resonates with your heart, something that sparks joy within, has the power to uplift your very essence. The subtle nuances, such as a delicate spritz of perfume or a cherished piece of jewelry, can truly transform the experience. They evoke the essence of your identity, reflecting the woman you have always been and the one you continue to evolve into. As Sarah began to focus once more on these seemingly trivial rituals, brushing her hair, donning her cherished blouse, and applying a touch of lipstick, she found herself witnessing a remarkable transformation unfold. She began to feel a sense of lightness, a renewed confidence, and indeed, a blossoming beauty once more. As she entered the room, smiles blossomed on the faces of those present. She experienced a profound sense of recognition. Moreover, she sensed a return to her true self. It felt as if the spirited woman she believed she had lost was subtly re-emerging, not only in the perceptions of those around her, but also within her own gaze. Third, in line. Embracing a steadfast resolve and an unwillingness to adapt. If you are still engaged with this video and appreciate these lessons, I invite you to comment with a simple one below to signal your presence and support. Sarah had always taken great pride in her ability to discern her preferences with clarity and precision. She was resolute in her habits, and that had perpetually been her sanctuary. What is the rationale behind altering something that has proven effective for so many years? However, as her children and grandchildren began to favor text messages over phone calls, Sarah found herself resisting this change. "I don't need to learn all that," she would assert, brushing aside their attempts to enlighten her. "If they wish to converse with me, they may simply lift the receiver." Yet, as time passed, those phone calls dwindled in number. Updates about family, snapshots and reminders for birthdays started to flood in. Yet she remained steadfast in her decision to avoid the group chats. At first, she remained oblivious, unaware that she was gradually isolating herself from those she cherished the most. It transcended mere technology. It revolved around the essence of connection, the desire to be woven into the fabric of their lives, and the profound nature of love. Yet, Sarah's unwavering resolve had started to create a chasm between her and those around her. Change, as it stands, is an unavoidable reality. As life progresses, one may find it challenging to embrace the changes, especially when it seems as though the world is advancing without you. The key, however, is to remain receptive. It's simple to declare, "I don't require that." Yet there exists a subtle power in uttering, "I will make an effort." Embracing change, regardless of its magnitude, ensures your engagement and sharpens your acuity. There's no need to master everything in a single night. Begin with the little details. Allow your grandchildren to guide you in the art of sending a text, or immerse yourself in a show that captures their affection. Rather than turning away from change, welcome it with open arms. One remains unaware of the treasures that lie beyond until the moment of exploration arrives. As Sarah allowed her granddaughter to guide her through the art of texting, she found herself pleasantly astonished by the ease of it all. What astonished her even further, however, was the deluge of connections she had overlooked. Daily snapshots of her great-grandchildren, shared laughter through inside jokes, and brief check-ins that enveloped her in a sense of belonging. In relinquishing her resistance, she discovered the ability to embrace something far more precious than mere advancements in technology. Bond auto. It transcended the mere act of texting. It was a means of connecting with those who held the greatest significance in my life. In this journey, she discovered not only fresh avenues for expression, but also unearthed a profound sense of love and connection within her relationships. 4. Clinging tightly to the remnants of the past, unable to release the weight of accumulated chaos. Sarah had always possessed a deep sense of sentimentality. For her, each object in her home was imbued with a narrative, a cherished memory, a fragment of history she found impossible to relinquish. Amidst the forgotten relics of time, there lay birthday cards, their sentiments untouched for decades, and piles of newspapers, each a promise of future reading, yet to be fulfilled. Clothes, too, lingered in the shadows, unworn for years, yet their hold on her heart remained unyielding. She held on to them, just in case. As time passed, her once inviting abode, a tranquil refuge, had evolved into a daunting labyrinth of possessions, encumbering every nook, every ledge, and every space. She could no longer ignore the truth. What had once been a sanctuary had transformed into a war zone, cluttered with possessions she scarcely engaged with yet found herself unable to part from. Initially, Sarah was convinced that everything was perfectly fine. She persuaded herself that all things held significance. She frequently remarked, "I may find it useful one day." It exuded a sense of safety, a warm comfort that wrapped around me, offering a reassuring embrace in its presence. Yet, in reality, the relentless chaos had started to choke the vitality from her home, her tranquility, and her very essence. With each passing moment, she felt her weariness deepen, overwhelmed by the relentless task of sifting through the towering heaps around her. Maintaining her home in a state of order grew increasingly challenging. Locating essentials became a daunting task, and the thought of inviting others over filled her with a sense of embarrassment over the disarray. Her once welcoming space had transformed into a haunting reminder of her entrapment in the past, a testament to her reluctance to let go of what no longer served her. When her daughter softly proposed that perhaps it was time to consider releasing a few burdens, Sarah fought against the idea with every ounce of her strength. "What if I find myself needing them in the future?" she contended. Yet in truth, the chaos extended beyond her living space. It started to invade her thoughts as well. The burden of carrying such weight upon her, obscuring the joy of the present, and shrouding her sense of tranquility. It transcended mere possessions. It was the weight of the emotional baggage she had gathered alongside them. Releasing what we hold dear is a challenge, particularly when every item seems to carry a fragment of our soul. Yet, the reality is this: clinging to an excess of material possessions or emotional burdens can foster a feeling of stagnation, trapping one in the past and hindering the ability to fully engage with the present moment. It is a quiet intruder that steals away your clarity and tranquility. In a moment of clarity, Sarah understood that true freedom lay in the act of release. Escaping the grasp of clutter is not an instantaneous endeavor. It demands a gentle perseverance, a compassionate regard for oneself, and the bravery to confront the reality that not all you cling to is necessary. How does one even embark on the journey to untangle this overwhelming chaos? Begin with the basics. Approach each drawer, each shelf, each box with deliberate focus. Envisioning the prospect of decluttering all at once can seem daunting. Yet when approached in smaller, more manageable segments, the task transforms into something far more achievable. Consider whether this is something you truly utilize. Does it evoke a sense of joy within me? If the response is negative, then it is time to bid farewell. Contribute items that may serve a purpose for others. Recycle those that have lost their utility, or bestow cherished belongings upon family members who will hold them dear. Transform decluttering into a routine, a straightforward, daily endeavor. Establish a modest objective. Eliminate a single item from your life each day. A seemingly modest yet steady endeavor has the potential to yield significant change as time unfolds. Moreover, we must consider the pragmatic side of the situation. Disarray extends beyond mere mental strain. It may also pose risks. It heightens the likelihood of falls, accidents, and injuries. A dwelling transcends mere shelter. It ought to be a sanctuary where you experience safety, comfort, and tranquility. As Sarah made the bold choice to embark on her decluttering journey, an enchanting transformation began to unfold. The burden eased from her shoulders, and the change was not merely one of the body. She parted with garments long untouched, breathed new life into forgotten magazines, and curated her surroundings to illuminate the essentials that truly resonated. Do you want to know something? After years of turmoil, a rare tranquility enveloped Sarah's home, bringing her a newfound sense of peace. It transcended mere cleanliness. It exuded a sense of lightness, radiance, and warmth that invited all who entered. A newfound sense of liberation washed over her, born from the act of letting go of the past and fully welcoming the present moment. Most importantly, she discovered a renewed excitement for inviting friends over, a feeling that had eluded her for far too long. 5. Sarah had never considered herself to be someone who lost patience with others easily. She consistently embodied kindness, understanding, and forgiveness. Yet, as the days unfolded, she began to perceive subtle fissures forming in her composure. Small instances where annoyance surged, causing her to momentarily lose her poise. On a quiet afternoon, she found herself at the grocery store, patiently waiting in line with a cart brimming with various items. The young cashier moved at a leisurely pace, clumsily handling the bags, and Sarah sensed her frustration escalating. What accounts for his sluggishness? Isn't it possible for him to pick up the pace a bit? She pondered, a surge of irritation bubbling within her. Before she could rein them in, the words slipped from her lips. Could you please speed things up a bit? As soon as the words escaped her lips, she noticed the cashier's expression shift, a shadow of disappointment crossing their features. He cast his gaze downward, his hands quivering ever so slightly as he endeavored to complete his task. In that moment, realization washed over her. The young man stood at the threshold, a bundle of nerves, striving earnestly to find his footing. And there she stood, lashing out at him as though he were the source of her turmoil. A sudden wave of guilt washed over her. Had she begun to transform into the very individual she once held in disdain? The individual who was hasty in judgment, swift to react, yet sluggish in extending kindness. The truth struck with undeniable force. With the passage of time, one may find it increasingly challenging to maintain patience with those around us. Life unfolds at its own rhythm, and it can be exasperating when the surrounding world doesn't keep up with our desires for speed. Yet, the reality is that impatience complicates life, not only for oneself, but also for those around them. It complicates matters for us as well. It elevates our stress, obscures our clarity, and taints our connections with those we meet. How do we cultivate patience and kindness, particularly when the pace of life seems excruciatingly slow? The initial step is straightforward. Take a moment to reflect before responding. As irritation begins to seep into your thoughts, pause for a moment and draw in a deep breath. Should I really let this bother me? Consider that the driver taking their time on the road may very well be a beloved grandfather, while the cashier struggling with the bags could be a diligent student striving to excel. With a touch of patience, one can traverse great distances. When frustration begins to rise within you, consider altering your viewpoint. Rather than reacting with frustration, extend a smile, share a kind word, or simply say, "Take your time." When Sarah encountered the young cashier again, she took action. With a warm smile, she praised his efforts, assuring him that he was doing an excellent job. His face illuminated with joy, and in that instant, Sarah understood the profound impact of kindness. A small gesture can brighten someone's day and lighten their load. Patience ultimately serves not only as a blessing for others, but also as a profound treasure for our own selves. Opting for patience instead of frustration fosters reduced stress, enhances interactions, and cultivates a more tranquil heart. Sarah had always cherished the art of conversation. She possessed an abundance of tales to tell, wisdom to impart, and moments to revisit. Throughout the years, she had earned a reputation as the family's storyteller. Yet a singular issue loomed large. She was unaware of the frequency with which she took control of the discussions. One day, her daughter, who had been reaching out less frequently, finally decided to share her thoughts with her. "Mom, I cherish our conversations, but at times, I feel as though my voice goes unheard," her daughter admitted. "It seems that our conversations revolve entirely around you, leaving little room for me to express my thoughts." Sarah stood in disbelief. How could she have missed it? She came to understand that each time they conversed, she would eagerly interject with her own experiences, tales, and counsel, scarcely taking a moment to truly listen. In her pursuit of imparting wisdom, Sarah had inadvertently overlooked the importance of allowing her daughter the opportunity to express herself, to truly be heard. She spoke endlessly, yet her ears remained closed. With the passage of time, one may find it all too simple to succumb to the illusion that we possess all the solutions. We wish to convey the lessons of our lives, to share the wisdom we have gathered through the passage of time. Yet, if we neglect to pause and genuinely listen to our loved ones, we run the perilous risk of driving them away. Sarah confronted the truth that, in her eagerness to connect, she had inadvertently distanced herself from those she cherished the most. Achieving harmony is essential for enriching dialogues. Engage in conversation, but also take the time to truly hear what others have to say. After sharing your thoughts for a moment, take a breath and inquire, what about you? How have you been faring lately? Strive to actively engage with the words of the other, demonstrating authentic curiosity in their thoughts and expressions. Hold back the impulse to interject, even when you possess an intriguing tale to share. Allow the other individual the opportunity to express themselves. Pose questions that encourage genuine dialogue and exploration. Rather than merely inquiring, how do you fare? Consider inquiring, what thrilling event unfolded this week? The next time Sarah engaged in conversation with her daughter, she deliberately focused on listening. She inquired further, allowed her daughter to express herself, and reserved her counsel for moments of genuine necessity. The outcomes were truly remarkable. Their dialogues evolved into extended exchanges, imbued with warmth and depth. Sarah discovered that the most meaningful exchanges are not rooted in the volume of words spoken, but in the depth of understanding achieved through attentive listening. In that unassuming moment of listening, she unearthed the profound beauty of connection once more. Seventh in line, shoving others aside rather than reaching out for assistance. If you're still engaged with this video and discovering value in these lessons, I invite you to comment below to signal your presence alongside me. Sarah had always taken great pride in her unwavering independence. It defined her essence, shaped her existence. For decades, she devoted herself to nurturing and caring for those around her. She nurtured her children with boundless affection, orchestrated a lively household with remarkable skill, and extended her support to neighbors in times of need. It was a comforting sensation to be sought after, to occupy the role of someone others rely upon. Yet, as time unfolded, a subtle transformation began to take shape. The once effortless tasks she performed began to loom before her as daunting challenges. On a quiet afternoon, she found herself grappling with the burden of a heavy grocery bag as she attempted to lift it from her car, her arms quaking under the strain. A young man strolled by, observing her plight, and with a gentle smile, extended his assistance. "Could you use some assistance with that?" he inquired. With a sense of pride, Sarah managed to muster a smile and gently shook her head. "No, thank you. I can handle it myself." Yet she chose not to. She did not. With each laborious pull of the heavy bag across the threshold, the strain in her back grew sharper, and a tide of frustration and loneliness surged within her. With every step, a weight seemed to settle deeper, not merely from the fatigue of the body, but from the profound emotional burden of turning away from an act of kindness. She had distanced herself from a person who genuinely sought to assist, someone who recognized her turmoil and wished to alleviate it. In that instant, Sarah experienced a profound sense of solitude, deeper than she had ever known. Later that night, as she lingered in the stillness of her home, the painful realization struck her like a chilling breeze. Her unwillingness to seek assistance, to embrace support, was not fortifying her resolve. No, it was gradually distancing her from the very bonds that had once provided her solace. She opted for solitude rather than companionship, self-sufficiency instead of shared reliance. What makes seeking assistance a demonstration of strength rather than a sign of weakness? Seeking assistance does not render you a burden. It grants others the chance to nurture you, to express their affection and encouragement. Individuals truly desire to assist, yet if you persist in excluding them, ultimately, they will cease their efforts to reach out. In those moments, you will discover that you are not merely weighed down by physical loads, but also left yearning for emotional sustenance. It forges connections between souls, crafting instances of collective humanity that transcend the immediate objective, be it the simple act of holding a door ajar, the strength required to lift a burdensome load, or the gentle offering of an empathetic ear. Allowing others to assist us undeniably lightens the load of life, not solely in the physical realm but also in the depths of emotion. It serves as a poignant reminder that we are not intended to face our struggles in solitude. In allowing others to feel a sense of purpose, you bestow upon them a precious gift. Can you envision a world in which your assistance was never sought after? You might sense a lack of significance, a feeling of being unnecessary. Why not embrace the joy of allowing others to assist you? Sarah came to the profound understanding that transformation was necessary. When the opportunity for assistance arose again, she vowed to herself that she would relinquish her pride. She would undoubtedly agree. The next time she found herself in the store and spotted that young man once more, Sarah offered a warm smile and remarked, "Actually, I could use a little help today." His face lit up, and as he took the bag from her grasp, Sarah sensed a burden ease, not from her shoulders, but from her heart. In that unadorned moment, a profound change stirred within her. She experienced a profound sense of visibility, worth, and above all, a deep connection. Have you ever experienced the difficulty of reaching out for assistance, or savored the happiness that comes from extending a hand to another? It is a profound experience that serves as a reminder of our shared journey. Allowing others to enter your world is perfectly acceptable. 8. Excessive thriftiness can rob one of the joys of living. Sarah had consistently embodied the essence of financial wisdom. With an innate talent for managing finances, she approached coupon clipping with zeal, effortlessly forewent vacations, and paused thoughtfully before committing to any non-essential purchase. Though she possessed a reassuring sum tucked away, an incessant unease lingered in the recesses of her thoughts. What if I find myself in need of this money later on? What if an unforeseen event occurs? The relentless rhythm of accumulation persisted, an unending loop of saving. But for what purpose? What was the purpose of amassing riches if she wasn't embracing the life she had always envisioned? One fine day, Sarah received an invitation from her dearest friend Emily to embark on a weekend adventure to the serene countryside. "It will be an absolute blast, Sarah," Emily exclaimed, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "We shall embark on an adventure, savor delightful cuisine, and simply unwind." Sarah's first impulse was to decline. To embark on a journey often required a financial investment. Dining out signified an expenditure. Every aspect of it filled her with unease. What if I come to regret that expenditure? Yet, beneath the surface, a faint voice murmured, "When did I last indulge in a moment of self-care?" For years, Sarah had existed in the belief of saving for a distant tomorrow. As she lingered in that moment, gazing at Emily's invitation, Sarah found herself pondering the unsettling thought. What if that elusive day never arrives? What purpose does my savings serve if I am not embracing life in the present moment? What is the significance of finding joy in your finances? While financial responsibility holds significant value, life encompasses much more than merely accumulating savings. It's a matter of existence, of genuinely embracing life. Experiences, be it travel, outings, or hobbies, bestow a deeper, more enduring joy than any material possession could ever offer. Research indicates that investing in experiences cultivates memories that endure well beyond the moment the purchase fades from memory, whereas material possessions, objects, gadgets, clothing, diminish in worth as time passes. Sarah had toiled relentlessly throughout her life to reach this pivotal moment, to establish a foundation of financial security. Yet, security devoid of fulfillment resembles a hollow vessel. A harmonious existence hinges on the delicate art of balance. Reveling in the rewards of your hard work does not lessen your accomplishments. Rather, it pays tribute to them. What steps can Sarah take to transform this habit? She resolved to grant herself the freedom to indulge, to savor the small delights that life has to offer. Be it a dinner out, an impromptu hobby, or a weekend escape, she promised to cherish those moments that fed her spirit. She even established a delightful fund, a dedicated account solely for her pleasure. When Emily extended the invitation for the weekend trip once more, Sarah felt no hesitation this time. She uttered a resounding yes, and how profoundly it transformed everything. In those brief 2 days, her laughter echoed more than it had in many months. She basked in the warmth of the sun on her face, savored the delight of exquisite food shared with cherished companions, and, above all, rediscovered the art of living life to its fullest. As she sat beside Emily, watching the sun dip below the horizon, a profound realization washed over her. This was the moment she had been waiting for all along. The fleeting moments, the cherished memories, the profound connection. Money was intended to nurture her joy, not merely linger idle in a bank. What experience have you been delaying due to financial constraints? Life does not pause for your preparation. Now is the moment, ninth in line. With a condescending tone, Sarah cherished her grandson, Noah. His visits illuminated the pinnacle of her week. She delighted in listening to tales of his school life, his various hobbies, and most notably, his fervent enthusiasm for video games. Yet recently, those visits seemed to carry a different weight, a sense of distance lingering in the air. Their dialogues had taken on a tense quality, filled with an uncomfortable awkwardness. She observed that Noah seemed less inclined to engage in conversation, his attention captivated by his phone rather than their shared moments. One afternoon, Noah enthusiastically introduced a new app that had captured his interest. With a weary exhale, Sarah shook her head, lost in thought. In my time, we thrived without the crutch of modern technology. Children ventured outdoors to engage in play, rather than fixate on screens throughout the day. Noah fell silent. A few moments later, he murmured, "I should probably be on my way." The door clicked shut behind him, leaving Sarah in solitude, the piercing ache of regret settling heavily in her chest. She never intended to create distance between them, yet that was precisely what she had done. Her words, intended to impart wisdom, instead left him feeling dismissed and invalidated. In her quest for connection, she had inadvertently erected a barrier that separated them. What is it about condescending communication that alienates younger generations? One can easily find themselves ensnared in the wistful embrace of yesteryears. However, persistently telling younger generations that the past was superior can lead them to believe that their own experiences and struggles are insignificant. Rather than nurturing comprehension, it breeds separation. Each generation encounters a distinct array of challenges and struggles. Rather than casting judgment upon them, we ought to elevate their spirits, extending our support and encouragement. What steps can Sarah take to alter this habit? The next time Noah brought up something novel, Sarah inhaled deeply and replied, "That sounds intriguing. Elaborate further if you would." She did not cast it aside. Instead, she embraced curiosity. She endeavored to grasp his reality, posing inquiries that allowed him to feel acknowledged. As Noah unfolded his game strategy, a remarkable transformation took place. They forged a bond, not via criticism, but through a shared sense of respect. Their dialogue unfolded effortlessly, and after what felt like an eternity, they experienced a moment of true intimacy. How about you? Have you ever found it challenging to connect with the younger generations? What served to connect the divide? At times, the focus isn't on transforming them. It involves grasping their perspective, perceiving the world as they do, and connecting with them in their current state. 10. Clinging to grudges and regrets resembles the burden of a heavy weight, gradually sapping your strength piece by piece. It transcends mere mental weight. It infiltrates every aspect of your existence, robbing you of current happiness and obscuring your viewpoint. Each time you linger on those past hurts, you rob yourself of the splendor that the present moment holds. Have you ever found yourself reflecting on a past injustice or betrayal, and in that moment you're not just revisiting the hurt, but it feels as though the very light of the world around you begins to fade? Such is the hold of bitterness. As you hold tightly to those negative memories, you find yourself drifting further away from the love and joy that envelops you in the present moment. It is a difficult truth to confront, yet the insidious nature of bitterness can gradually undermine the bonds we hold dear. It slips in quietly, almost imperceptibly, complicating the bonds with those you hold dear. Unbeknownst to you, that resentment quietly transforms into a barrier, separating you from those you hold dear. In the most dire situations, it can transform into a simmering rage, accumulating gradually, until your heart feels encased in ice, leaving you to ponder the reasons behind your profound solitude, even amidst a throng of people. Moreover, we must acknowledge the impact it has on one's well-being. Grudges and regrets transcend mere emotional baggage. It's a tension that resides within you, refusing to fade away. The unrelenting strain and pervasive negativity can elevate your blood pressure, disrupt your sleep, and potentially harm your immune system. Though you may attempt to brush it aside, a part of you understands its impact on your being. One cannot escape the repercussions of clinging to old wounds. If you're still engaged with this video and discovering value in these lessons, I invite you to share a simple 3 in the comments below to signal your presence alongside me. How can one release their burdens and discover the emotional liberation that is rightfully theirs? It begins with embracing the stark reality that the past remains irrevocable. What has transpired is irrevocable, and regardless of how often you revisit those moments in your thoughts, they remain unaltered. Rather than inquiring what led to this occurrence in my life, consider approaching that question from a different angle. Inquire, what lessons can this teach me? By taking this step, you liberate yourself from the chains of the past and equip yourself to forge a future that is both healthier and more joyful. Forgiveness serves as a vital element, not for the one who caused you pain, but for your own peace of mind. To forgive is not to condone wrongdoing. It is to liberate oneself from its hold. You are liberating yourself. It is a difficult reality to confront, yet releasing those grudges does not signify frailty. It embodies both bravery and resilience. It revolves around reclaiming authority over your existence, your tranquility, and your emotions. Shifting your focus is no simple task. However, when you find yourself drifting back into familiar patterns of resentment, take a moment to pause and steer your thoughts towards something uplifting in the present. Consider penning a letter that conveys all the emotions and thoughts you've kept tucked away. Then, shred it, set it ablaze, or allow it to float away, embracing the moment to let it all go. You deserve at least that much. Sarah's narrative stands as a powerful reflection of this journey. For 4 long years, she bore the weight of old wounds. One evening, clutching a piece of paper, she resolved it was time to release everything she had held on to. She bared her soul on that page, revealing each regret, each scar. With a deep breath, she finally permitted herself to let them go. In that instant, a transformation stirred within her. After what seemed like an eternity, a sense of lightness and freedom enveloped her. The burden that had weighed her down for years was finally lifted, granting her the freedom to move ahead. 11. Overlooking health issues may initially appear to be a tempting refuge. Who is eager to confront the unsettling prospect of something amiss? Yet, this refusal, this evasion, can prove to be exceedingly perilous. Minor symptoms that we often dismiss may serve as the body's subtle alerts to something far more significant lurking beneath the surface. The dizziness that has been plaguing you? It might be dehydration, or perhaps a troubling early indication of a stroke. That weariness you often ascribe to the passage of time. It may be an instance of undiagnosed heart disease. We frequently persuade ourselves that it is insignificant, or that it will eventually fade away. However, the reality is that postponing checkups inevitably results in more severe consequences in the future. Minor concerns, if neglected, can escalate into significant health emergencies. What compels us to linger in anticipation? What compels us to persuade ourselves that it's acceptable to overlook something that feels amiss? Perhaps it is the whirlwind of our lives, the relentless pursuit of our myriad obligations, that causes us to overlook the subtle whispers of our own bodies. Perhaps we fear the echoes of truths that await us. Yet, the reality remains that turning a blind eye to those warning signs does not cause them to vanish. It merely exacerbates the situation. It is far simpler to prevent issues than to manage them once they arise. Through subtle changes in our daily habits, such as enhancing our nutrition or incorporating consistent physical activity, we can steer clear of significant health crises. Prevention embodies the essence of self-love and care, a precious offering that we frequently neglect. Sarah discovered this truth through a difficult experience. Following her fall, the incident that left her grappling with pain in the hospital, she came to understand how effortlessly she had neglected her health. She believed she could simply push through, convinced that the dizziness was merely an inevitable aspect of aging. Yet that autumn, that excruciating jolt of reality, shifted her perspective entirely. She vowed to herself that she would never again overlook the subtle hints. She would heed the signals of her body, nurture herself with greater intention, and cease relegating her health to the sidelines. She began to increase her water intake, enroll in balance classes, and arranged consistent appointments with her doctor. Embracing her health journey was not synonymous with relinquishing her autonomy. It signified a commitment to accept it by shouldering the responsibility for her own well-being before circumstances deteriorated further. Thus, we uncover the valuable lesson that Sarah imparts to us all. Therefore, pose this question to yourself. Have you been overlooking a message your body has been attempting to convey? Act before the moment slips away. Your well-being deserves the utmost attention and care. Seize the moment and act without delay. Embrace the right to experience a life that is rich and full of vitality. It begins with attuning yourself to the subtle messages your body conveys. In the serene confines of her living room, Sarah found herself immersed in the pages of old photo albums, each turn evoking memories of a time brimming with laughter, joy, and unbridled excitement. She glimpsed images of herself frolicking with her grandchildren, twirling at family gatherings, beaming under the warm sun. It dawned on her that at some point, she had ceased to pursue that particular kind of joy. Life had settled into a monotonous rhythm, lacking in excitement. However, when Emily extended the invitation for a movie night, Sarah hesitated. Nevertheless, a part of her chose to embrace the affirmative. That night, as laughter danced from the depths of her being, Sarah sensed a part of herself stirring to life. The happiness that had lain dormant for ages was still present, poised for a moment of rediscovery. For the first time in ages, she recalled the sensation of laughter that made her stomach ache and brought tears to her eyes. Joyful laughter serves as a balm for the spirit. It transcends mere amusement or entertainment. It plays an essential role in our emotional and physical health. It alleviates stress, enhances immunity, promotes circulation, and even aids in memory retention. The mere act of laughter has the power to draw us nearer to one another, fortifying connections and cultivating relationships. With the passage of time, laughter serves as a gentle reminder that the spirit can remain youthful. It serves as a soft reminder to find joy in existence and to welcome the uncomplicated delights that life presents. As Sarah departed from Emily's abode that evening, a sense of buoyancy filled her spirit. She came to understand that joy was not merely a serendipitous encounter. It was a deliberate choice she could embrace. The following morning, rather than succumbing to the news or allowing her daily routine to govern her, she turned up her beloved music and twirled joyfully around her kitchen. The instant laughter erupted. The choice to welcome joy back into her existence marked the dawn of something truly beautiful. It is never too late to choose for yourself. Seize the moment, for perfection is an illusion. Bring it to existence. Embrace joy. In contemplating the significance of releasing grudges, valuing our well-being, and embracing joy in our lives, consider the insights you've gained today. What struck a chord with you the most? Perhaps it is the strength found in forgiveness, or the way laughter serves as the ultimate remedy for both body and spirit. Or perhaps it is the undeniable reality that overlooking health indicators can lead to grave repercussions. Pause for a moment and reflect on a single lesson you've encountered today that you will carry forward into your life. I would be delighted to receive your thoughts. What is a lesson you are dedicated to embracing as you move ahead? We invite you to express your thoughts in the comments section below. If this video resonates with you, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more enriching content. Your support is invaluable to us.